Hello, this is Karlova Design and I brought you a new project today, which is this cap. And it's quite a quick and easy project. I made it in about 6 hours and I did not have instructions. I think it's good for a beginner as well because it doesn't require any special skills. And I'm using it all the time now since I made it a couple of days ago, and I'm enjoying it very much, and I get tons of compliments from everybody. Everybody wants to try it on and so on and so forth. So you're gonna love it, and let's begin. First of all, measure your head right above your ears. The pattern comes in 11 sizes from 53.5 to 63.5 centimeters. I've printed my pattern on white format, and you will have US letter, A4 and SVG format included. My measurement is 55.5, which corresponds to size S, and this is what I'm gonna be making today. I'm gonna be using 1mm goat skin for the crown and the lining. Any soft leather of 1mm thickness would work well here, and I bet you could even use canvas. For the visor, I'm going to be using a 3mm chrome tan, and this will keep the shape pretty well. For that little strap in front, I'm going to be using 2mm vegetable tan pull-up, and I think pretty much anything will work here as it's purely decorative thing. And for the band, I'm going to be using a very beautiful black vegetable tan of 3mm. The pattern is designed for 5mm stitching irons, and I finally discovered why it is good to have an iron with 4 teeth. Because it's very good for slight curves like we are gonna be doing here. Don't forget to mark which part is right and which part is left. And again, don't forget to pass this mark on to the leather. Also pass the marks for the visor on the band. I am also gonna polish both surfaces of the visor because I like it to be shiny. I have a separate video on the channel where I explain how to use Tokonol for this. Skive the inner edge and the tips of the visor so they won't stick out too much. I am also gonna burnish the bottom edge of the band. For the little strap we need a small buckle, which is 3/4 of an inch or 19 millimeters. And we are going to set it with a rivet. Here's a little keeper for the strap, and don't forget that you may have to adjust its length according to the thickness of the leather that you're using for the strap. To attach the strap to the band, you can use either Chicago screws or the rivets, but I'm gonna be using Chicago screws in case if I screw something up. When you're watching this video, you already know that it came out right, but when I was making it, I had no idea if I would have to redo everything from scratch. And this can happen when you are a pattern designer. Now let's take care of the crown and make sure you lay the pieces out as they should be. Actually, I could have designed them as one piece, but well, first of all, this is not how the classical caps were done. They were done out of 4 pieces, and the reason for that is this one whole piece would generate a lot more waste than 4 little pieces stitched together. Be careful stitching these parts and don't over tighten the seams, which is quite easy to do with a soft leather. It's not gonna be looking pretty afterwards. Now let's stitch together the band lining and the side. Make sure you don't confuse the top and the bottom of the band. Keep in mind that the little strap is a little bit closer to the bottom. I'm gonna be leaving out one hole of the side hanging freely. This is necessary, so this back seam would be exactly in the middle. It's very important to mention that every seam on the side, every one of those 3 vertical ones, should be taken as one hole. So every time you pass them, distribute the seam allowances nicely and use the gap between those side pieces as a separate hole. And now we can complete the seam on the back of the side. Let's stitch the top on, and we should align this mark with the seam on the front of the side. I'm gonna start stitching with the hole right next to it, but it's important that these things are aligned. Knocking the seam with a hammer is a good thing to do if you think you might have over-tightened it. It can also flatten the seam allowances on the side. And this is the moment when I realized that the pattern was drafted correctly, and I was really happy about it. Now it's time to do the bottom stitching, where we are going to stitch the lining to the band, and also inserting the visor. Make sure you have the marks. So let's go ahead.
First of all, let's stitch together the back side of the band. You can use parallel stitches, that's what I'm using. You can use cross stitches or baseball stitches, it doesn't matter. The important thing to keep in mind, it's not an overlapping seam. So let's go and complete this seam and just continue with the bottom seam of the cap. Here I would like to mention that the thickness of the leather that you decide to use for the band can also influence the size a little bit. For example, if you need the size to be a little smaller, like if you are in between the sizes and choose to make the bigger version, then you can use thicker leather for the band so it fits you a little better. Skiving the ends of the visor is quite an important thing for your comfort, so they won't be sticking out and bothering you while you're wearing the hat. Start stitching the visor in exactly at the marked hole. It should be stitched in between the band and the lining. Now the last step is making that decorative stitching line on the visor. In my case, it doesn't serve any purpose, I don't think so, but if you don't have such thick leather for the visor, you might want to use 2 layers of whatever leather you got, and this may be helpful to give it a little bit more structure. Don't forget that in this case you might have to glue them together with really good glue so it doesn't come apart. And then I decided to make a few holes on the back to let the air out. It's up to you whether you want those holes or not. Anyway, I put some lacing through and I think that's quite cute.
This is it, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.